I'm Danny, and this is Asher. We're two Kiwis who, after 5 years living in London, decided to head home the slow way. We bought a 36-foot sailing boat, Bacchus, built a little rowing and sailing dinghy, Piwakawaka, and headed towards the horizon. These are our adventures. In our previous episode, we had arrived in Curacao while all the borders were closing around us, and were lucky enough to be the last boat officially let into the island. Social distancing was being encouraged, but no specific rules were in place. Coast Guard are cruising around on a pilot boat, so must mean they're pretty busy. They've just gone to Tula. I think they're asking to see papers. And I guess they'll come to us next. The Coast Guard proceeded to visit each and every boat in the anchorage, banishing almost half of the boats who hadn't paid the harbour dues to what we then nicknamed Quarantine Bay.
We're two up at Piwakawaka today.
You're doubling.
Yeah, we're almost having to stand. A little bit of wind on here. We're just out exploring Spanish water. Happy that we're not one of these boats that's stuck in lockdown and quarantine. We're allowed to leave the boat and actually go and do things. So
we're going to go visit them anyway.
Yeah, we're off to Quarantine Bay where all the naughty boats are locked away.
We've been becalmed in Quarantine Bay.
Not a good place to start. Got a yellow flag up there.
Oh, here's the wind. Woohoo! Off we go. So today is a really fun day because Piwakawaka is getting a tattoo. Our good friend Yana is quite artsy, so we've done a few sort of ideas for her to have a look at, and now she's gone and drafted up a name for Piwakawaka, which includes a nice little New Zealand fantail. So at the moment she is penciling it on, and then we've got the paints out and she'll have a nice new name. She is. Okay. Job done. Now we've just got to wait for the paint to dry. Here she is, our artist. Good job. How do you feel about it? You happy?
I'm happy. Sometimes very critical with myself. I just said to Danny, I didn't see the last A is just a little bit bigger. And we decided not to give the bird any more color and just to strengthen the wings a little bit and the fantail, and yeah, I think it suits the boat quite well, doesn't it?
I think so too. I think it looks perfect. Piwakawaka.
I've never been to the States, but the architecture around here, the Dutch colonial buildings, remind me of what I would expect to see in somewhere like Arizona or New Mexico. You know, in those old Wild West movies where defending the Alamo and whatnot. It's all amongst the cactuses and the rocks, and then this kind of Spanish mission style of architecture. It's got a fantastic view over the water and these lovely big graceful sweeping staircases. It must have been something important in the colonial days.
The weather was still hot and we were still in the Caribbean, but we felt very far from the lush jungles of Martinique and Grenada. Oh, that's a nice view. And a nice little seat here.
So this is the Santa Barbara resort that we went past on our way in. This is the entrance to Spanish Water that we're standing at now. And look at what a different scene it is. That beach was just packed with people in their togs, people on jet skis, boats, people partying.
Just big parties, loads of people. It was noisy. We thought we'd arrived in Florida somewhere. And now it's dead.
Now it is empty. This is coronavirus in action.
We are not wearing the right footwear for this hiking. It's like sharp volcanic rock and lots of cactus as well, cacti, and as always we have journals on, flip-flops, so it makes our life a little bit tricky. Try not to pierce the sole of your shoe with the very sharp volcanic rock.
We're at the top, I think. This is it.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, look at that view.
Woohoo! Oh, awesome!
Wow. What a view.
So while there were minimal restrictions in place at this point in Curacao, we were lucky enough to continue to explore our new backyard. We ran daily workout sessions on the beach with our fellow boaties, showered on the boat when tropical squalls came through, swam in the beautiful beaches, and worked out some more. Today we are running, which none of us like doing, but we're doing it anyway. We're committed to the cause. Operation Corona, get fit. But as we all expected, our days of yoga sessions on the fort were numbered, and with 14 cases of COVID-19, the Curacao government made the call to impose a lockdown.
The word has come down that Curacao is being locked down like the rest of the world is. So apparently we're not allowed to leave the boat now, except for going to the supermarket or going to the pharmacy. So that's the end of our little workout routines on the beach and walks up to the fort and going spearfishing and diving and all those nice things that we've been entertaining ourselves with.
It was pretty good while it lasted, but we knew at some point we were going to join the rest of the world and be
under house arrest.
Stuck on our little island.
Yeah. But it's fine, you know, the boat's pretty comfortable. We were saying today it's actually going to be kind of just like being on passage in the Atlantic, except the boat's not going to be rolling around as much and we can sleep normal hours. So that's all good. We've got plenty of books to read. The weather's nice. I think we can still swim off the boat.
We're going to swim anyway until we're told we're not allowed to.
Yeah, apparently the boats in Guadeloupe and Martinique are not allowed to swim, which is really stink for them. But yeah, so frustrating and a bit annoying and a bit disappointing, but we'll be fine.
So it's day one of our lockdown.
And we're going to town.
So we're going to top up on some supplies. They gave us no warning whatsoever here in Curacao that we're going into lockdown. So we have got a couple of water bottles, jerry cans that we want to fill up with some water. Ashley needs to get some tools from the hardware store to fix a few things on the boat. I need to get a couple of things from the pharmacy, so we're going to attempt a trip into town and see how we get on. day 2 of the lockdown. We got everything that we needed, all our essential items yesterday. So today, like everyone else who's in isolation, I've got baking. When Ben came to visit for the Atlantic crossing, he bought a massive block of chocolates from here. So we are slowly making our way through that. Look at the size of the piece of the blocks, just massive. And my partner in crime is doing domestic duties as well. What are you doing over here?
I'm washing knickers so we don't run out.
Washing up all the knickers.
Here we go. Clean undies.
Look at it. So that's day 2's operations. It's day 4 of the lockdown, and Asher has been doing some rope work. What have you been doing here?
So we need a new main halyard. Our old one has got some quite bad chafing where the halyard enters the top of the mast when the sail's at full hoist, and the rope's quite old anyway. So we bought ourselves a whole lot of nice new rope, and I've just put a splice into the end of it and spliced the fitting on there, and now I'm actually just sewing a little leather sock onto the rope. This is where it will actually go into the top of the mast, and I'm hoping that it provides a little bit of additional protection. So I'm just stitching that on here, and oh, there goes my thread, and yeah, it'll just reinforce the rope a little bit on that high wear point, so hopefully this halyard lasts a bit better than the last one. So the halyard's all been spliced, and now we're going to use the old halyard, which is the white one, to pull the new halyard through the mast. So I've tied them together with some string and then just wrapped a bit of tape around it for good measure. We don't want this to come undone halfway through the process, because then it becomes very hard to get the new halyard through. So I'm just going to now pull the old halyard out of the mast, and that should send the new halyard in.
Good luck. Ridden into Willemstad. It's about 30 degrees and it's about 45 minutes on this fold up bike. I'm going to go chat to immigration about whether we can get an extension further than our 90 days, and also just make sure that our paperwork is all legit for the moment, because the situation's changed since we first got here. But yeah, a bit of a hot, sweaty ride in. Really glad I just spoke to immigration then, because it turns out we don't actually have 90 days that we're allowed here. At the moment we've only got 30 days, and if we want to have the full 90 days, which is 90 days out of every calendar year, then we have to go and apply for an extension at a different immigration office. So I'm going to go and try and sort out an extension for us, and then that'll give us a little bit more time. I don't know if we can get any more than the 90 days though, so that's a little bit concerning. We will find out. And as per last time, customs is in such a random dodgy little place. Okay, here it is. Okay, so that was successful with customs. We've now got 90 days. So now, next stop is the second immigration centre to see if I can get an extension. Okay, so annoyingly the second immigration office that I've been sent to is closed due to the coronavirus. So I have to figure out now how we're going to go for this extension, but I've got a phone number, so I'll give them a call. Fucking pigeons, eh? It's a close call. Hate pigeons. Anyway, I'll give the immigration a call. Hopefully someone's mounting the phones, and maybe we can get an extension that way. We'll see.
How long have we been here? 3 weeks maybe? So we're still on lockdown here, and nowhere's letting anybody in really. We got news today that a couple of boats made it through the Panama Canal, but we're just doing a bit of brainstorming now. We've got the wind charts with Tula, and we're just having a look at some of our options where we could go, but it's very difficult to know really what to do because there's no clear picture about where we're going to be welcome at the moment. What are you doing in here today, Danny?
Well, I am attempting to bake sourdough, but I'm afraid it's probably the world's worst ever sourdough.
We haven't tried them yet, so...
No, the dough's not really been doing what I've wanted it to do, but I spent the last week making a starter, just feeding my starter with flour every day, and I'm not convinced it was as active as it should have been to use it into the mixture. It wasn't super duper bubbly, so I used it anyway, and my dough is pretty stiff and not really rising much, as you can see by the size of these little mounds. So I'm currently just making makeshift baskets to stick them in, and we'll see how they come out.
Nice. I'm excited. And we've also got some cinnamon rolls being made as well. Just going to be an exciting little thing.
I feel more confident about the cinnamon rolls. They're looking good. I'll show you the mixture. Wow, shit! So I've had no problem getting this one to rise.
It's going
nuts. My goodness, it's climbing out of the bowl. This happens to me frequently, but they're going to be pretty good, I think. I'm going to bake them in the morning for Easter Sunday instead of hot cross buns.
Nice.
Here it is. That looks okay.
It's a little bit scorched.
Check out the bottom.
Looks alright. Out of the oven.
Ta-da! My second loaf has turned out a lot less burnt than the first one. Here it is. So it's Easter Sunday. So today we are having some bubbles with our bubble.
Bubble includes
Sailing Tula, which is Jana and Ilya, and also Chris, who is another German. And Ilya has put on a massive spread, so have a look at our lovely brunch. Happy Easter, everyone!
So I'm just jumping in the water to give Bacchus's bottom a clean. We've been anchored here in Spance water now for a few weeks, and the water's quite warm and it seems to have a lot of nutrients in it, so things are growing like absolute crazy. So check out what Bacchus's bottom's looking like. And keep in mind, this is, it's only been a few weeks since we cleaned her in Grenada. Maybe it's been 5 weeks since we cleaned her in Grenada. So it's pretty crazy how quickly that's growing, that propeller. Looks like it's got a forest on it. Big job. It's been quite hard to find drinking water here in Curacao. You can buy it from the fuel dock where they sell diesel, but since this coronavirus lockdown, the fuel dock's not open and there's a big shiny padlock on their water tap. So we've been hunting around trying to find somewhere that will let us fill our jerry cans with water. and we found a tap at a different marina, which is coin operated, and we found, or takes these little token things, and we found a nice man that sold us a handful of tokens. So we're just in the process of filling up our jerrys now. Not entirely sure how many litres we're going to get out of these tokens, but if we can get a couple of hundred, that'd be good. So off we go with a full load of empty jerrys, and we'll go and see how much more water I can get out of this tap. It's a bit windy, so it's a little bit of a bash bringing them back to the boat. It's nice going in this direction, it's a bit splashy going the other way. It's days like this that you really miss just having water that arrives at your house in a pipe. It's quite nice. Thank goodness for this little outboard though. This wouldn't really be doable if we were rowing. It would be a real chore.
We have treated ourselves today. So we're in amongst all this deciding of whether we should stay in Curacao or go to Panama. We found out that there was a hotel called Bed and Bike, which is just down the road from the anchorage, and they were still operating during coronavirus. There's all of about 4 people I think staying here, but we've booked ourselves a room for the night. It's my room there. And oh, it's so nice. We've got a big proper sized bed, and we've already had showers, proper showers, washed our hair, washed everything. It's got a lovely pool for a swim. But yeah, we're just taking one day off from boat life and recharging and lying in the hammock, reading my book, drinking my beer, and not worrying about coronavirus and our plans for one day. And tomorrow we'll go back to the boat and figure out what the hell we're going to do. What are you up to, Asher?
It's a nice change of pace from being on the boat all the time. It's lovely.
Got a few screens going on.
I've got lots of screens. I'm dual screening. We're making the most of having fast internet again, instead of these little prepaid SIM cards that we've been using for the last wee while. Yeah, downloading movies, checking emails, yeah, everything.
Day off.
Day off, it's lovely.
It's pretty quiet.
Join us on our next episode. We finally make the decision to leave Curacao for Panama. We get Bacchus ready for a 5-day voyage and 14-day quarantine when we get there. If you like our episodes and you want to support us, head over to our Patreon page.